And now we're all ready to start. The first hand that you played this evening is the one on your screen, and no opposition bidding, and the contract is 4 spades by naught. So we've just bid 4 spades. And we get the lead of the Jack of Clubs. Okay, let's have a look. Now, in fact, there are 2 ways of playing this hand. One somewhat simpler than the other, but requires 2 things. It requires you to get the spade finesse right when you have a 2-way position, and even if you get the spade finesse right, it means that you need the diamonds to be 3-3 as well. Let's just have a look at that line and see what happens, because it looks to be the more attractive of the 2 lines, or maybe you don't recognize the second line. So start off. Now, me as West, I would switch to a heart here, because I think it's pretty obvious that we're not going to make many club tricks. So we will try switching to a heart. Yeah, well, this is because both lines make, Sanya, but let's have a look and see what happens. Okay, now if we cross back the hand with a diamond, say, and now take the spade finesse. Oh, I didn't, sorry, I didn't go for it with the ace, did I? Let's put that bit right. Here we go. I've made the ace. Spade finesse has won. And what tricks are we going to make now? Well, we've made 3 spade tricks. We can make 4 more spade tricks. It's 7. And the King of Hearts is 8. And by ducking a diamond, if they're 3-3, we can make 10 tricks. So and this is the way that at least one player played it, maybe a slightly different order, but exactly the same sort of thing. Not only did we need to get the spade finesse right, we needed the diamonds to be 3. We've got 5 tricks. We've got 2 spade tricks, which is 7, the King of Hearts, which is 8, and 2 diamond tricks, and that will give us 10. But can we improve upon that? Well, yes, we can. Let's put it back up to the table for you. And this time we're not going to touch the trumps at all. You decide which way you think is the right line. So we're going to do bid 4 spades again. Same lead, Jack of Clubs. Could have won it with the king, but it doesn't matter. Switch to the heart just the same. Try and finesse, it doesn't work. Now we're going to play another club, because our plan this time is to try and ruff 2 clubs in our hand and a heart dummy, and then exit with the diamond. And let's see what position that arises. He's going to play another heart. And with the king. That's the ace of diamonds now. With another diamond for the king. Now we're going to ruff a club. And ruff a heart in dummy. And now we can play this last club. If it's East that's got the club, then we can just ruff it low. It doesn't matter really what left-hand opponent throws as we look at it here. Now we exit with the diamond. And what happens is that the opposition have to open up the spades. So we haven't touched spades at all, and we didn't need the diamonds to be 3-3. All we really needed was to East to have the 4 clubs. And if he didn't, we could ruff it and still hope that the Queen of Spades was with West. So in this way, we're going to claim our game. We're going to claim our 10 tricks. So 2 ways of playing that. Which way do you think is best? What do you think, Alan?
I wouldn't have managed either, Colin. I was asleep.
You're asleep. Alan's had a long day. Okay, that's board 1. And that's how the recommended line. Nobody truly got it right. Yeah, those that played for the spade finesse to be right through East, and then for the diamonds to be 3, they were lucky, because that's what it was, and they made it for them. And if somebody else really had the trump queen found for them, then that was a bonus as well. Do we have any other questions or comments on board 1?
Yes.
Go on.
Caroline suggested once the spade finesse had worked, you might have just ruffed a heart.
Would that give you enough tricks?
Well, it doesn't. You don't need the diamond now to throw away your losing anything.
Well, shall I play it again, or is
No, it's just an alternate. It's just you made it sound like you had to have a 2-3 diamond break.
Oh, right. That's what
but actually, you led the 7 of spades, I think, and it won. And now you can just
play the king of hearts and ruff a heart.
Oh yeah, well, I suppose you're in the wrong hand. Like you won the king of hearts, so but you've got to get back without a trump promotion. So there are problems. You need to. Okay, well, I just merely.
No, it's a valid point.
I suspect if you just play another club to expedite your entries, then you can ruff a heart easily, and I think that actually is.
All right, let's go to board 2. We've got all these pictures in the way. There we go. Upload the deal to the table. And I'm going to change my piece of paper. And this is an unopposed auction, and it finishes up in 3 hearts by East. Now, this is a technique that we've seen a few times already. But we'll go through it again. Get these pictures out of the way. Right, okay. And the lead we get is the 5 of diamonds. Okay, well, looks not a bad contract. So what can go wrong? Well, it would be nice for North to have the king of hearts. If North has got 4 hearts, we won't be able to pick it up. We'll have to use the trump reduction technique that we've seen before to effectively coup his king so that we pick it up towards the end. Okay, yeah, Lotus has tried a lost connection. And to do that, if it's necessary, we're going to need that king of diamonds in dummy. So we're going to win the first trick with the ace of diamonds. And we're going to cross back to dummy with a diamond in order to lead a heart. Lead the queen of hearts. It'd be really nice of North to cover that, because then all our hearts are good and we can just draw them, but he's not that silly. Poco one sitting North, you notice. No comments. Right. Okay, that wins. Okay, so we'll, if South follows to the next one, we don't have a heart loser. And of course, South doesn't. And South discards what the club say. Okay. So now we have the problem of how do we pick up this King of Hearts? Well, now we're in dummy. Don't forget our objective is to shorten our trumps so that we get down to the same length. If we can make both little trumps with the ruffing diamonds, then we're still going to make the ace and the jack sometime towards the end. So we're going to lead a diamond now. North has to follow. We're going to ruff. And now we're going to cross over to dummy with a spade. And we're not going to take the spade finesse, because if we did, they would switch. They'd simply play clubs and then play another spade, and we'd still have one trump too many. So we're not going to finesse. We're going to jump up with the ace. That's 6 tricks that we've got. We're going to ruff the diamond, and it doesn't help North to ruff ahead of us. And he can throw a club or a spade away. Let's say he throws a spade away. Now it doesn't really matter what we exit with. We've made 7 tricks, and we're definitely going to make the 2 heart tricks, because we have the ace jack sitting behind the king X. They can cash their 3 club tricks now, but we're going to make 2 more tricks. Strider made this one apparently, but nobody else did. But once you appreciate what the problem is, it shouldn't be that difficult. Mind you, you needed to have won the first hand in hand with a diamond and then cross the dummy with a diamond to play the heart, and that gave you the opportunity to ruff diamonds twice. Once because you're there already when the 10 of hearts stands up, and then you get back there with the ace of spades to ruff another one. And then you finish up with this ace jack of hearts remaining over the king 5, and you must make 2 more tricks. Okay, that's board 2. Do we have any questions or comments on board 2?
I would think there's another reason for taking the ace of diamonds, Colin.
Go on.
Because, well, if the heart finesse loses, say you've only got 8 tricks, you need to throw something away, and it looks like you've got to find queen jack smaller diamonds and a rough and set up the 10 of diamonds for a discard.
Right.
And I have a feeling if you play the ace of diamonds and the king of diamonds, that expedites the setting up with the 10 of diamonds for one to discard. So there may be other reasons as well for making sure you unblock the ace.
Another good reason. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Alan. And we have a question from Ratner. What's the question, Ratner? What's your question? Would a defender play the queen or 9 on trick 1? The 9 would be the right card to play. If I didn't play the 9, I should have played the 9. When your partner leads a low card, then your partner should be promising an honor. And if I didn't play the 9, I certainly should have done. So assuming that South would not lead away from an ace against a suit contract, because my partners only play with me once if they do that, then the only honour that South can have would be the jack. So it would be right to play the 9 at trick 1.
Yeah. The general rule anyway is to keep your honours to beat honours in dummy.
Exactly, yeah. So it's an extra indication, if you like, when partner leads a small one. If declare has got the 9 itself,
but the diamond queen, no.
You
finesse against the honour in dummy. It's the percentage play.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if somebody played the queen, then he can finesse the 10 and get a spade away. Absolutely right. Right, we will move on to board 3. Well, I've got to. What are we in? Ah, yes. South opened 4 spades and was left to play there. Now this one again is full of clues once the play starts. We got the king of diamonds. And I can't really see any advantage in ducking it and throwing a heart away or something like that. If the spades behave, then we're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spade tricks and 2 hearts and the diamond. We need to make 7 spade tricks, don't we? 3, 4, 5, 6. We need to make. We can make 2 hearts. We can't rough anything in dummy, so we need to make these little spades. And where can we make these little spades? Well, we can make them by roughing diamonds. But let's see what happens. We're going to rough this one. And we're going to catch 1 top spade. And we get the bad news. All right, so East started off with queen 10, 9, 3. Okay. Now, how do we stop him making 2 tricks with that? Or even 1 trick with that. What we want to do is to not lose any of our spades. If we can we've made 2 tricks. If we can make 5 more spades, that's 7. And the ace king of hearts is 9 and the ace of clubs is 10. So what we're going to aim to do, as we did in the previous hand, we're going to rough with these small spades, rough diamonds, and then our king jack will still be sitting over the queen 10 and must make 2 more tricks. So provided we can get to dummy often enough, that's going to be our plan. Another diamond, rough it, another heart, another diamond, now we'll play a club. Last entry to the table. And rough another diamond. And here's the point. We've taken 8 tricks and we're still sitting with the king jack of spades over the opposition's queen. We've actually got a heart loser and 2 club losers, but one of those is going to lose at the same time to a trump. So we can exit with anything except a spade. Let's say that we play a club, say. So doesn't really matter. We won't play a trump. Webs thinks, well, I'll catch my heart winner while I've got the chance. Except his partner's got to rough it anyway. Declare has still got this king jack of spades. And there's our 10 tricks. How many people made this one?
Gave it earlier, 1. Zane 16.
Oh, Zane made it, did he? Okay. Was he the only one to make it? Well, I hope he played it like that. Mikiko will soon tell us. Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments on board 3? Yeah, so you tell me. And Alan just said, not exactly what, Jock? Go on. What's on your mind, Jock? Or were you playing against Zane? Oh, you think Zane played a different line? Okay. Right, okay. Zane's table was a mass chaos. Well, you were at Zane's table, were you, Jock? Okay. We understand. Do we have any more questions or comments on board 3?
I will point out that this is a totally unrealistic hand, Colin. Were I ever to overbid by a 4-spade bid, partner would never have ace king of hearts.
No. This is always true. My partners don't have that sort of hand when I open 4 spades either. But Pat plays with the right partners, you see. So,
I see.
Obviously Zane does too. Yeah. We will move on to board 4. Again, no opposition bidding. We can save ourselves quite a lot of bidding, but this is one of the things that I was talking to Alan about earlier, and things that I don't fully understand about SAYC and 2 over 1. Maybe somebody would like to explain it to me. The auction that we were given was 1 spade from the west. You need to mute yourself, please.
Marion's coming over an hour.
Hang on, let me try and, how do we mute everybody?
I think it's in the more at the top of
On them
the
lights over there, will you?
shared screen.
No, there's no mute there.
Should be a mute all at the top of the
Yeah,
shared
it's not
screen.
in that. It's not in that bit. Let's have a look at mute over here. Now that's me.
I should go out and see that before it gets too dark.
If you find the person who's talking, you could click on them and then just mute them.
Yeah, I don't know who it is that's talking. That's what I'm trying to. Sorry?
Ain Moore.
Ain Moore is the one that's talking. Can't find her. Right, I've got her now. Mute. Okay, I've muted her. Right. I mean, I don't know why people can't just mute themselves as they're told. Right, 1 spade. Now, the auction we're given, 1 spade past 2 clubs. Not alerted. What's it mean? It does mean it clearly must do something for the IAC or the 2 over 1s or whatever. It's simply a game force. Is that right, Terry? Surely alertable though, yes? Why not? It's not natural. I mean, I've come across this before when I've been playing against people who have bid 2 clubs.
And yes, says yes, alertable on BBO.
It's why wouldn't it be alertable under any circumstances? It's a conventional bid.
Because I'm reading it, lots of folks played 2 diamonds as 5+ card.
Okay. So 2, yeah, but I follow the argument that it's a game force. Yeah. I'm asking, why is it not alertable?
Sanya says it is alertable.
It is alertable, Sanya says, right.
At least on BBO.
But it rarely is. You know, I've played against this no end of times. This is why I'm raising the point that, you know, it goes 1 spade 2 clubs. And for me, I expect there to be a club suit there. And then I'm a little bit miffed when I find out that there isn't, and my partner hasn't led one because my partner thought there was, and it wasn't alerted. Yeah, I don't care whether it's standard or not. If it's a conventional bid, then surely that makes it alertable. Even if everybody understands it like Stamen, it's still alertable, surely. Especially if you're playing against people that don't play the same system. Anyway, that was the question I was asking. It's a game force and could clearly conceal trump support, you know, because I would not expect there to be 3-card spade support there if you're playing 5-card majors. You know,
I'm
usually
thinking if bidding diamonds and hearts are real suits, then
Yeah.
there could be a hand with 3, 4, 4, 2 clubs. And then
Yeah.
you would have to be alerting it because it could be a 2-card suit. So I think it probably is alertable.
Oh, but if it's alertable that doesn't promise clubs, if it's a game force that doesn't
It's
show
an artificial.
any particular, it's artificial and it clearly should be alerted. That's my view anyway.
And what's 3, 3, 4, 4, 2?
No idea.
Well, I'm asking Blue is saying it's natural because it's a 3-card suit. But if it's 3, 4, 4, 2, and you're not allowed to bid diamonds or hearts, then you have to bid your 2-card suit. And you're certainly not allowed to bid 2-card suits without alerting it. So you have to do it in general because you can't just say on this hand it's a 2-card suit. I only alert when it is 2. That's
Okay.
Anyway, off you go, Colin.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, we'll cut the rest of the auction short because that's what I was interested in. I was interested in what it meant and why it was never alerted, because it's never been alerted for me, and I think it should be. But anyway, we're just going to bid 6 spades now, so because that's where we're going to finish. And the lead we're going to get is the 2 of clubs.
Coming.
Yeah, thank you, Terry. I mean, I think it should be alertable any time that it's just an artificial game for. Right, 2 of clubs. What have we got? Let's have a look. Well, we're going to make the ace of clubs. If the spades behave, this is not going to present us with any problems. Right, so we'll play a spade to the ace. And what we get is that South discards a club. Looks impossible now, doesn't it? We know that North has still got Queen, Jack, 9 of spades. And if we play spades ourselves anymore, we're going to lose 2 spade tricks. So what's the answer? Well, somehow we've got to get down to a position where we can lead a non-trump from the west hand, which is going to be a winner, and that North will have to rough it ahead of Dummy's 10, so he's going to have to rough it with the Jack or Queen. And then because he's only got trumps left, he's going to have to play away from the other on it. So that's the position that we're looking for. Okay. So now the question is, how do we get to that position? Well, we clearly need to leave the trumps alone. So what we're going to do first, we're going to shorten our trumps by playing a club to the king and roughing a club. Now we're going to cash the ace of diamonds. And some people got this right so far. And then what they did next, they crossed a dummy with a heart. And they're still on line to make this contract. Then they played the king of diamonds and threw a heart away, and no longer they make it. We don't need that king of diamonds. We don't have any heart losers. What we do need is to reduce our trumps. So we're going to play, it doesn't matter which diamond we play, we could play the king and rough it, but it doesn't matter. As long as we rough a diamond, and now cross over again to the king of hearts. ruff another diamond. Now the ace of hearts. And we've reached the position that we considered right back at trick 2. What is North to do? If he ruffs low, we'll make our 10 of spades and the king of spades. And if he ruffs high, to stop that happening, we of course don't play a spade at all. We throw a diamond away. And North now has to play a spade away from that queen. Finish up with our 12 tricks. Yeah, king of diamonds, we don't need it as a trick, but that's where some people went wrong. I saw 2 people actually play the king of diamonds and throw a heart, and at that point they can no longer make it. You need to ruff diamonds twice, and if you ruff the king of diamonds, doesn't matter. You don't need it as a trick. I'll load the hand up again for you, and we'll have another look at it. Bear with me just a second. I'll upload the deal to the table. We're just going to bid 6 spades by West. Now we're only going to make that plan once we find out that the spades are as bad as they are. So we're not making this plan to start with. We get a club lead. We win, obviously. Now we play a spade. And South discards. So it's at this point that we have to think ahead to the position that we've just described, because we know North has got Queen Jack 9 of spades left. If we play spades ourselves, he's going to make 2 spade tricks. And the only way we can stop him making 2 spade tricks is to get him down to 3 cards and lead a winner from West, with dummy still having the 10x, so that he has the choice of either playing low, a low spade, because he only got spades left, and we make the 10, or he goes in with the queen or jack and then has to lead away from the other one, and we still make the 10 and the king. So that's what we're aiming to do. And to do that, we need to ruff 2 diamonds in our hand. And so we need to...
You should also emphasize, for this to work, you must have reduced the number of your trumps down to 2 when you leave this winning card.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, so
you need three ruffs to bring it down to that.
So we're going to be ruffing a club, and we're going to be ruffing 2 diamonds. And it doesn't matter which diamonds we ruff. We can leave the king and ruff it, but we have to come down to that. Our last 3 cards are going to be the king X of spades in hand and the 10x of spades in dummy, and the heart in our hand, which is a winner. Doesn't matter whether it's a winner or not, it could be a loser, but we'll have a heart left in our hand and a diamond left in dummy. So we'll play the heart, and North was faced with the threat that we saw. He couldn't cope. If he played the 9 of spades, we made the 10 and the king. And if he went in with the queen or the jack, then he had to play against the other one because he's only got spades left. So that's when we make the plan at trick 2, when we find out that the spades are breaking that badly. This is only going to work if we can get down to that position. So we're going to have to reduce our spades down to 2, which means we've got to ruff 3 times. We can ruff diamonds twice and clubs once, and hopefully North is going to have to follow through all of them, and then the coup that we've come up with will work. And yes, because we have the 10 in dummy, exactly. If the 10 was not in dummy, this would not work. Yes, if we had the 10 in our hand, if we had king 10 of spades, then it wouldn't work. Quite right. Do we have any more questions or comments on board 4? Okay, we'll move on to board 5. And this time we do have a competitive auction, so we're going to give you the auction. 1 diamond from north, 2 clubs from east, not hearts from south, 2 hearts from west, hearts, no, 5 diamonds from north, not shutting me out, double from partner, I think West's got a little scared now. He's overbid his hand already, but he doesn't think that taking 5 diamonds off is such a practical idea. So he decides that 5 hearts is a better spot. We've all been there, haven't we? All got partners like this.
Only
I played with you, Alan. Yes,
Alan.
I know. And South simply can't resist. He's got 5 hearts. His partner's open the bidding, and he's got the ace of clubs. So not a recommended double, but that's what he does.
Rescuing partner who needs not be
Exactly, Terry. Yes, yeah. I only rescue partner when partner shouts help. If partner digs a hole, I say you dig yourself out. Yeah.
That was Rattler, not
oh yes, it's Terry. Okay, it's right. Okay, so now we're in 5 hearts doubled, and we get the lead of the ace of diamonds. And it's going to be followed by the king of diamonds. He's got nothing better to do, we wouldn't think. And we're going to rough it. Okay, now we've lost 1 trick. The ace of clubs appears to be a pretty inescapable loser. So that will be 2 tricks. We can't afford to lose any more. So in particular, we can't afford to lose a heart. That's looking like a pretty tall order. But what do we think South has got for his double? He's surely got good hearts, or thinks he's got good hearts. He didn't bid before. So we should be basing our plan on South at least having the queen of hearts. Well, we're going to have to give them the club trick anyway. So we're going to start off. Our plan is that we're going to give them the club. Not going to help South to play a heart. He can play a spade or he can play a club. Let's imagine that he plays a spade, shall we? Club back maybe. Club won't cost. Now, if South has got 5 hearts, we can't afford to play the ace first. We're going to have to run the 10. I think it's a pretty fair bet that South has got the queen of hearts. We don't know whether he's got 4 or 5. So to keep the ace of hearts as an entry in dummy, we're going to run the 10. He's not going to cover it, but he's rather given the game away with his double. North, so the 10 of hearts wins. Well, now what do we need to do? We need to hope that the spades are going to stand up for 3 rounds, and we need to rough a couple of clubs if we can. Bring our trumps, make these little trumps ahead of South. And there we go, we've made 1 club rough. Now we can make the queen of spades. We're going to cash 3 spade tricks and hope that they stand up. Now we'll see why it was so important to leave that ace of hearts in dummy, because now we're going to lead a club or a diamond. Club will do. South has got to ruff it, and it won't help him to ruff it high.
Coming.
Now we can play the spade with the ace, hearts, which can't be over ruffed. And here we are in dummy with the king jack of hearts still sitting over the queen X. And we can claim the last two tricks. Yes, the double was in the auction simply to warn people that there was going to be a bad heartbreak. 5-0 exceptional. 4-1 we could have expected, but we surely expect South to have the queen. In case it's 5, we didn't cash the ace first. Alan called me while playing trick 9. Did Alan call me while I played trick 9? What did Alan have to say? Huh? Alan, are you there? No? I think probably he was being called by Peggy. I think that's more likely his wife, who is not very well. So he's probably gone off to look after Peggy. All right, do we have any other questions or comments on board 5? That's quite a tricky hand, isn't it? But made a little easier by the double that rather gave the game away. But it just goes to show you should never admit defeat. You could always look for a way of turning these things to your advantage. Right. Yes, we needed to be able to cash 3 spade tricks. Absolutely right, yeah. Did anyone make it? I don't know, Caroline. Maybe Sanya knows if anybody made it. Right, we'll move on to board 6. No one made it. Okay, board 6. I think some of these now are quite tough, but these are the last ones in the series, and you have had quite a bit of practice in the previous weeks of these trump shortening techniques and end plays and things. Yes. How many tricks they went there? I have no idea, Sanya. Okay, let's have a look at board 6. If we can find board 6. Need to. There we go. Board 6. Send it to the table. And again, we have a competitive auction, not one that I personally would recommend. And indeed, the 2 out of 5 made. Okay, the documentation that I've got says, you know, I'm not endorsing the auction, but it's what we got. Okay, well, let's have a look and see what the auction was. East opened 1 club. South passed. West bid a spade. And North decided that this magnificent heart suit was worth a mention. Two hearts, 2 spades from East. And 4 hearts from South. Must be worth a go, partner. You've got a lovely heart suit over there, obviously. Don't really blame East for doubling, do we? He's sitting with ace, queen, jack, 10 of trumps, 100 honours in the old days, over the person who bid the suit. So, yeah, I don't think we can really criticise East for venturing a double on this occasion. And he leads off with the 10 of clubs. No, he doesn't. He leads off with the king of spades. Now, where are we going to go? Tricks. Well, looks like we have no spade losers. We can ruff a couple of spades in dummy. And we can throw 2 diamonds on the king, queen of clubs. So that's going to be our plan. I think we're going to cash the ace of clubs and then cross the dummy with a spade ruff. Throw 2 diamonds. Oh, we throw 2 diamonds on the, and we're going to be in the wrong hand. We need to ruff diamonds as well. So maybe we need to cash the ace of clubs and the ace of diamonds, and then cross the dummy with a spade ruff. Play 2 clubs throwing diamonds, and then ruff a diamond and ruff another spade, and then ruff a club. Well, that will give us 9 tricks. And dummy will at that point have the singleton king of hearts. So if we lead our last spade, then it doesn't matter what East does. If he ruffs it low, we'll over ruff with the king. And he ruffs with the ace, we'll still have our king. So let's, yeah, invented auction. Yeah, you're very probably right. It's presented me as an auction that happened, but I'm not sure as I believe it either. So I think that's going to be our plan. We're going to cash the ace of clubs and the ace of diamonds now. We're going to eventually, we're going to get to dummy. With a spade, right? Here comes the spade, right? Now we're going to cash 2 clubs and hope that they stand up, ditching these diamonds. Now we're going to ruff a spade, ruff a diamond rather. Quick ahead of myself. And ruff a spade. Now we have to decide whether we can ruff a diamond back to hand or a club back to hand. Which is it? Well, we've got to remember that East opened a club. They might have done that on a 3-card suit. It's difficult to say, but I think the club's slightly more likely. When we play a club, West does his best. Yeah, over ruffed, and poor East has to follow suit. And now the 8 of spades promotes the king of hearts in dummy. If East ruffs low, we'll over ruff with the king. And if he ruffs with the ace, then the king will still be there. And that will give us our 10 tricks. So, coup en passant, this one, the technical term, borrowed from chess, of course. But we're making the king of hearts by virtue of leading small towards it with a side suit. Play a heart, of course, East will grab it and he'll make his 4 heart tricks. But when we play a spade, he can shoot himself whether he ruffs low or ruffs high, but either way, we're going to make that king of hearts. And that is board 6. Do we have any questions or comments on board 6? The op didn't ruff. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, West should try to see if he can ruff high enough. But if you did the same thing, Makiko, and you made it, well done. Yay. Yeah, I agree with you. You should be proud of this. It's a good line. Yeah. Oh, Makiko sent me that privately. I didn't notice. But she did say she did exactly the same thing as I've just shown you, except that when we played the club from the table, West did not ruff at her table. Here, West ruffs and North over ruff. But is the voice okay now, Jock? It says the voice was messed up. Is that okay now? What the? Voice is good, says Linus. Okay. We'll move on to board 7. Board 7. No opposition bidding, and this is going to be a contract of 3 spades by East. Okay. Now it is a little significant that that South passed as dealer. We'll come back to that in a moment. But South decides to lead off with the 5 of diamonds. It goes to the 5, the 8. The diamond comes back. And he continues with a 3rd diamond, which declare it is going to block. Now, should we play a little spade? We don't really want a trump promotion when the 10 of diamonds. If we lose a spade to North and the 10 of diamonds comes back, we could have a trump promotion problem. I'm not sure, and I don't think Alan was absolutely certain, but what we're going to do here, we're going to play the ace of spades. Second spade. Now, when South plays the king, that doesn't mean, of course, that he hasn't got the queen. He might have the queen. But can he have the queen? Well, here's the thing. It's a little bit of working out what we need. We need the club finesse to work. Right? We need that. And if the club finesse is right, and we've seen South already play the king jack of spades and the king jack of diamonds, so that's 3, 4, that's 8 points, and we need him to have the king of clubs, so that's 11 points. If he also had the queen of spades, he would not have passed as opener. Okay. So we assume that South doesn't have any spades left, in which case, what are we going to do here? Well, we can take the club finesse now, can we? Or do we need to play the hearts first? Well, he's going to play a heart. Won't play a club. So we're going to, because we've got all the hearts sewn up. And now we're going to overtake the jack of hearts. And now we're going to take the club finesse because we need it. It can work, we can make it. And now we're going to promote one of our trumps by roughing a diamond. We know that South hasn't got any trumps left. And now what do? Well, we play clubs. We don't need to take the finesse, or maybe we should have cast the king of hearts first, should we? Yes, let's go back. Cast the king of hearts first. We know North has got 2 spades left and a club. So, you know, even if we're sure the club finesse is working, it's no good to us. But we're back where we were previous hands. We've led the queen of clubs, and we're going to promote our 10 of spades. If North roughs high, we'll throw the heart away, and if he roughs low, then we're going to make him 10. finish up with our 10 tricks. Any questions or comments on board 7?
I just
How
have a
do we know
query, right?
North started off with 4 trumps? Well, we don't know to start with, but once we play the ace of spades and another spade, and it's debatable whether we should do that or not, I agree. But if we do play ace of spades and another spade, and South plays the jack and the king, we go back to the bidding, because South dealt and passed. And we've already seen him play the king jack of diamonds and the king jack of spades. That's 8 points. And we need him to have the king of clubs. So, because we can't make it if he doesn't have. So that's 11 points. And we argue that if he had the queen of spades as well, then he would have opened the bidding. So he doesn't have the queen of spades. Therefore, North started off with 4 spades to the queen 9-8. That's the argument that we're putting forward, yeah. Sorry, Alan, I interrupted you.
Yeah, when you were talking about it, my sound went silent, and I don't know other people. I don't know whether there's a fault in my headset or yours. But the bit where you were saying the king of clubs has to be right, I didn't hear. I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah.
And it may be that people didn't appreciate. But actually, if nobody else had a problem, then you did indeed tell everybody that the king of clubs, and it's impossible that he therefore had the queen of spades, and that was part of this question about.
Yeah, indeed.
So anyway, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe everybody else had this glitch and didn't actually hear you say it.
I don't know. I did try to talk to you earlier. I thought because we thought you'd said something, but I think possibly you went off to attend to.
Yeah, I keep wandering off to help people.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments on board 7? They're getting quite familiar, these problems, aren't they? These trump promotions and trumps on coups and coup on passant and whatever. But now we're going to show you one that if you've seen before, you'll still be amazed. And if you haven't seen it before, you'll be even more amazed. I've never come across one of these at the table. I don't know whether Alan has, but I've seen them in print on numerous occasions. But we'll cut a long story short. The bidding doesn't matter. South is going to finish up in the contract of 7 diamonds. Let's pass this round to South. Now again, Alan and I were having a little bit of a discussion, deciding whether playing for one opponent to have Queen Jack Doubleton was preferable to playing for the distribution that you need in order to make 7 tricks by any other method, 13 tricks rather, by any other method. But we're going to show you the method anyway, and it's a coup called the Devil's Coup. It appears when you look at the hand, the opposition have got a certain trump trick. One of them's got Queen X and the other one's got Jack to 3. One Devil's Coup per century. I've never seen one at the table. And me, I mean, I'm quite an aficionado of squeezes, and I've only come across a crisscross squeeze twice in my entire life that I've noticed anyway. And each time it was for a modest over trick in a park score. So they are very rare animals. And this Devil's Coup that we're going to look at, this is indeed a very rare animal. And the situation that we have to arrive at is one where the opposition, we get down to sort of 3 cards, and then we play a winner, and the opposition either have to rough it low, in which case we rough it low because your left-hand opponent's got to follow suit to it, and then we make the ace king of trumps, or he roughs it with the jack, and that we overruff with the king, say, and that leaves his partner open to a finesse against the queen. So that all sounds very complicated, but let's see it in action. Okay, 10 of clubs is what they've told is the opening lead. So we're going to win that in hand. And we do need the opposition to have a very specific distribution. We need, on this occasion, we need the spades to be 4-4, and we need the hearts to have 3 on our right and 4 on our left, and the trumps breaking 3-2 with the honours split. So that means that the clubs are also going to be 3-3. So we're going to cash 2 more club tricks. The first part of our plan works. Now we're going to play a spade and ruff a spade. Everybody has to follow. Then we've ruffed the spade, and now we're going to play a heart, my king. And the heart doesn't help him to ruff this, but he can't anyway. We throw the club. Now we play the ace of hearts. Ruff a heart. This is the position that we were aiming for, with 3 cards left and the lead is in dummy. And if we play the ace king of diamonds, of course, we're going to lose a diamond. But if we lead the 10 of hearts, West is going to be obliged to follow suit. So if East ruffs low, we will ruff with the 6, and the ace king of diamonds will make our last 2 tricks. But if ruff is high, now we can over ruff with the king, and we are left with a finesse position against the other diamond on it. And we finish up with our 13 tricks. Yeah, devilish is the word, but we do need. You heard everybody made this. Just really, Joe. It is hard, and Alan and I are undecided whether that particular distribution that you need, because you need West to be a 4-4-2-3 shape, and you need the diamonds to be on a split honours. Which has got the better chance.
Yeah, the other one is Queen Jack Doubleton.
Yes,
and that we do know is 6.8%.
6.8% of Queen Jack Doubleton diamonds. So,
but what is the chance of 4-4-3-2-3 exactly in that order?
4-4-2-3
with split diamond on.
Now,
yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, but that is the last hand of our group of 4 lessons on things that we're going to do with trumps or not do with trumps, as the case may be. They have been quite difficult this week, so I don't think you should feel too bad if you haven't been so successful as you would normally be. I think these are quite tough hands, but they're interesting, and if you study them, then no doubt you will improve your play. You'll stop and say, this looks impossible, but I've seen Colin do it and I've seen Alan do it, so maybe it's not so impossible after all. Okay, do we have any other questions on any of the boards that we've played? Well, we've got one more squeeze day with Alan, I think, next week, Alan. And yes, you've got another squeeze one for next week?
There were 48 hands, and then that's 6 sets of squeezes. Though some of them actually don't work, so I'm having to do something to correct it. Next week is more of the same.
More of the same next week.
Automatic and positional squeezes. So simple squeezes still at the moment.
Okay, still more simple squeezes for you.
More
You'll
of
be
the
really
same.
au fait with those by the time Alan's finished with you, won't you?
A piece of cake. This one.
Yeah, a piece of cake. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Alan. Thanks for your input, and thanks to everybody for listening. And hope you've had a good evening. It's around about 20 to 10 here in the UK now, so we've been at it for a couple of hours or so, but it's been a good evening. Been some lovely hands to look at, and hope that you've grasped a few of the techniques that we've been showing you.